Hello, everybody. I'm actually Armen from I'm the solidity lead from Distributed Lab, and today I'm gonna tell you about something that you probably need to be aware about, but actually you should be if you are working with the smart contract somehow. So whether you are a developer, if you are a developer, you probably know about that, and if you are the person who is actually running the business on the smart contract, so it's gonna be super useful for you to know. So let's start. My topic is called upgradability in the smart contracts and risks related to it. First of all, let's talk about just the simply smart contracts. What is it, and why it should be upgradable or shouldn't be. Okay, let's go. Let's start with a smart contract. Actually, the smart contract is the program that you can put on any EVM-based system. Actually, first of all, on Ethereum. And the main idea of the smart contract is that code cannot be changed. And that's the beauty of it. So once you deploy the smart contract, then the code of it will never be changed. And you always know that it is, for example, secure and nobody can steal your money or whatever. But also it is a different side of the coins. You cannot change a bug if you have some. So the upgradable construct is probably a good idea if you are running a huge system and you need to change something. So there is a way. But this way is not super simple. Actually, it's more or less, it's an invention, and it works some way around of it's not the simply deploying smart contract and marking it as upgradable. Actually, that's not about that. It's about the structure of what you can actually follow to achieve your contract to be upgradable. So here on this diagram we have I would say the short notation. Actually, the main idea that we will have the proxy contract that is actually different from the actual contract that's you are gonna use. So we are using proxy contract and we store all data on the proxy contracts, and we actually just call the main contract for getting to know what actually should happen. But that's a bit techy things, and that's not probably super important. Yeah, let's start from here. Actually, I'm gonna show some code on the main screen, but don't be scared. I will just explain what's actually going on here. So actually, here is just a example of the smart contract that has a flow. So here is a small smart contract. It has a flow. It's over here. The order of these two functions, it should be different. The last one should be above the previous one. So with the upgradable contracts, and if you deploy this kind of contract to the network, you cannot change it anyway, and it's gonna work with the flow. But if you want to fix it, then you can use the upgradable contracts. Yeah, you can actually upgrade the contract and change the bug. So if you have just a small issue, then that's actually the purpose of the upgradable contract. The small issues, you can easily fix them. But that's what I actually often meet when I talk to the clients. For example, they say okay, we're gonna have version 1, and then we're gonna change it to the version 2, just like that. And all the time I'm just saying we cannot change smart contracts, guys. That's not working like that. And they're okay, but use an upgradable contracts. Are you aware of them? And I say yes. We can, but the important thing about that you cannot actually upgrade the version 1 to completely different version 2 just using upgrades, because upgrades is it's super risky stuff. You cannot just take all the code and exchange it to the other one. That's not gonna work. Okay, so yeah. The main thing about upgrading the contracts is that you can change the code, that's right. But you cannot change the actual information that is stored on the smart contract. And that's the idea. For example, if you have the ERC20 tokens and you have user balances that are stored in the first version, and you want to, for example, a bit change the code, And the beauty of it, that's actually the second version. It's going to be with all the same balances. Like all the storage, all the data, it will be kept. And it's not changed. I have a few slides to show you exactly how it works. And what's actually I'm talking about that you should be careful. Like when I was preparing, I just like deployed the actual smart contracts on the Robson network to show how it could go wrong. And yeah, actually, the thing is next, you can just, for example, if you change it like correctly, you need to know how you can upgrade the code. For example, you can add the functions, but if you add some storage information, like some data stored in the smart contract on the beginning, then it's gonna ruin all the data storage in the end, like completely everything. And for example, if you have the tokens, if you have the token with the user balances, like it's like address to balance and then like 100 address to balance, and you add some new storage information on first, then for example your all like address balance gonna move to one position, and that's gonna be mean that user 1 will have the balance of 0 and user 2 will have the balance of user 1 and so on. But like that's exactly like not what you planning to have. Okay, that's the useful side of upgrades. That's what you should be careful of, but it's like, of course, you cannot see anything, unfortunately. But yeah, believe me, here I deployed the smart contracts, and actually that was the first version when we had like the few balances of users. And actually the first user had like balance of 10 tokens, the second one of 20 tokens. And then I changed it to like this one, and that's gonna work properly. Then I changed it to this implementation, and you see like here I added the new balance on the top. And yeah, unfortunately it cannot be visible, but yeah, the first user in that implementation like got the 0 balance, even though he had 10. And like the second user got the balance of the first, and so on and so on and so on. So yeah, this is the problem, and that's why that's the simple smart contract, right? Completely simple. And if you have the system of the huge smart contracts, you can never be sure that if you change something in the code, then your storage gonna be fine. And that's a problem. That's why you cannot just simply take one contract and replace it with the other one. That's right. Yeah, and that's even not everything. So probably the most important thing that you like, that was for the people who are actually building the project and projects. And now that's information for people who actually use the crypto projects. Yeah, what if like some project owner, like just understand that he's an owner of the huge project with the like millions dollar liquidity on the platform. And for example, all the users, they think that if I put my funds to Compound platform, for example, they are completely safe. It's built on the smart contracts, okay? Like, of course, it's audited like 1,000 times. Everything is going to be fine. But their contracts, for example, are upgradable. And if you are the one who can upgrade the contracts, then you can, for example, like I will show you this example. Actually, it's like again not visible at all, but still. Here is just like a simple smart contracts, and here we have like two functions. First is invest, and second is withdraw one. And as a user, you can invest, then you can withdraw, and everything like looks completely fine. So you put in your funds, then you withdraw in your funds. But if you have the upgradable system of the smart contracts, being an owner, being the one who can upgrade, you can simply add next thing. You can like, as I just did, I added the function like withdraw new and put the like only owner modifier to it. And just code it in the function that I can take any funds of any user from this platform. And that worked. So yeah, like nothing went wrong. I just like was able to take like all the funds. Yeah, by the way, in my presentation, you can see like all addresses, they're deployed to the Robson network, so you can just take simply the addresses if you know how to use it. And everything is verified on Etherscan, so if you want to play it yourself and see like everything yourself, then you are like much welcome to do it. Yeah, so I added the function and was able like to make like any withdrawal. And yeah, to say in the end, like I just checked a few like major huge projects on the network, whether they have like upgradability system inside or not. And that's what I discovered. Like Compound, Aave, and OneEach, they do. They can upgrade their contracts. So like, be careful. And for example, such projects like Uniswap, Curve, and MakerDAO, they do not. But one more thing about that, like even though, yes, these projects, like they cannot change their code in the smart contracts, but that doesn't mean everything. You still should be careful. Like I can say from my perspective, like I reviewed the codes of the Uniswap, and that cannot be changed at all. So I would advise to use like Uniswap freely. It's secure, like from my perspective. But the other ones, for example, like Curve, don't know about MakerDAO, but yeah, Curve. Yeah, they don't have a system about like upgrading smart contracts, but they have a system about just exchanging the addresses of the smart contract. So they can simply deploy like a new one and share the address. That's not the same as upgradability because they don't store data, and you will definitely understand that they changed the contract, but still, they can do something. But yeah, like my point is definitely you should know about like upgradability, and if upgradability is used in some major product, like the huge one with I don't know how many liquidity on it, just be aware. Thank you.